Hello and welcome to episode 1478 of The Sleeper and the Bus. It is Friday, February 20th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, February 20th already. How's it going, man?
It's kind of crazy. We're,
I
we're
know,
gonna
it's
have some
blazing.
baseball games here really fast. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go. No, I'm not really ready to go, but I'm as ready as I'm ever gonna be. So
I'm glad we're in this stage. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
fully ready or
no,
anything, but I am in it. I'm loving it. I'm doing Tout Wars draft and hold right now. I've got a dynasty league that I'm in, the one that I'm in, doing our draft right now. I mean, it's just we got things going. We got things going. Like you said, games coming very soon. Is that?
you've got Tarf this weekend. I've got
That's
Barf
right.
this weekend.
Yep. Yep. Do
So
all of them go off on the same weekend? Because I think Jenny Butler was telling me
most
she got
of
Garf
them.
Garf coming up this weekend too.
I think there's one or two that don't do this weekend, but
Okay.
for the most part, I think like four or five of them go this weekend. So
That's great.
we'll have like an actual ADP from the Earth Leagues, like literally as of like Sunday morning.
Love it. Can't wait. I joined Tarf last year, had a blast with it. Hoping to do even better this year. Yeah, and the games actually start today. I thought so too. I didn't want to. I
Mm,
wanted to check before I said that. We got one at noon, Yankees O's, then a bunch
nice.
out west at 2 o'clock. Five more after that, or four more, excuse me. So 5 games total today. And we talk about this every year that I love it basically until they start, and then
Yeah,
it's background noise. Like I can't wait for everything to start, but I'm not gonna sit there and like die hard watch the games
yeah.
because we don't really
I
care.
will today,
Oh, of course,
but
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
today, holy shit,
Today,
I am so dialed in.
I'm gonna
I'm
be in my
watching
office like
all
with
the way
like two
through.
or
I'm
three
watching
games
the
on.
eighth
Yeah,
inning.
hmm
I'm checking the deep innings.
yeah.
Tomorrow, immediately, the second day in, background noise, and the
You're
best background noise. Don't get me wrong.
you're gonna be watching like Julian Fernandez, the
Yes.
17-year-old from the Twins, throwing to you know
Someone
Jeff
number
Smith. Yeah,
105.
exactly. Yeah,
He got
it'll
triple
be
digit number.
it'll be great. We'll love it.
So have you been watching the Olympics?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a huge Olympics guy.
Love Olympics. I thought you did. Have you noticed the mascot, the little dolls that they get?
Yes.
The little white doll. You know what that is?
No.
It's called a stoat, which in itself is a cute little name. It's just this little snow weasel basically that I only knew about because Jen and I randomly saw a picture of one, and we compare every twerpy little animal to Charlotte, so we knew about stoats. And I saw one of the some skier yesterday holding one. I was like, is that a freaking stoat? So I immediately start researching. It is, and they have all this great merch, but they will not ship it to the United States.
Tariffs, man.
I'll pay them. They wouldn't even let me. They got all these little pins. I'm a big enamel pin collector. And they had a little plush, or actually, they had two sizes. I wanted to get a pin, and I was looking at maybe getting a plush. I think these are really cute. I like stupid, cute little shit. And I'll go to order. Her name's Tina, because it's in Cortina. Tina the Stoat. And every time I try to order, it says, due to the manufacturing restrictions, we can't ship your items to your address. Take that item out of your cart. And I switched every item out, and it wouldn't work. So they won't give me stuff, the Olympics. So if you see the Stoat pins anywhere, folks, that an American can purchase, please let me know because I want. You know what they remind me of? The Animaniacs characters. I don't know if you ever watched that cartoon,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they have those little Stoats have that vibe, and
Mm.
that's very cute to me and nostalgic. So
I
anyway,
was
there's
I
my
was a
little
big
detour.
I was a big Pinky and the Brain fan.
Yes,
Yeah,
gigantic. I loved Animaniacs, and
yeah.
it actually just kind of hit me as we're talking about it right now. I'm like, I think that's why I love these so much, is they give me an Animaniacs vibe, and again, I think that's stoat is a funny word and a cute little animal, and so again, if anybody can find the Olympic stoat pins that an American can buy, please let me know. I'd like to get them. But we're back into the outfield today. I reordered our groups a little bit because again, we're moving off of Jeff's direct rankings because we just didn't like the way you broke it up. Some tiers too big, some too small. So I started doing my own. But then yesterday, some of the matches really weren't there. Like the talent wise, we were jumping around. Today I got one for us, power speed guys. It's perfect. Mid later round power speed guys. Some of them have some flaws. Some of them have lack of track record. Lots to get into. Some of them are old. One of them at least is old. So let's just get into this group 5 here. Cedon Rafaela, Jose Altuve, he's the old one. Jacob Marcy, Brandon Nimmo, another oldish one. Luis Robert Jr., Joe Adell, your boy. Dylan Cruz, Brenton Doyle, our joint boy. Ian Happ, and O'Neill Cruz. So a mixed bag there, right? A lot of interesting profiles. Let's start with Rafaela. I was really, really impressed with how he's developed as a player. I remember when he was first coming up. Tim Kanak, am I saying the last name right? Is it Kanak?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
First one to put me on Rafaela. I remember first off because he corrected me because I used to say Cedon, I think, and it's Cedon, and I was saying Cedane, whatever. I was saying it wrong. He taught me the right way. But then I was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on this guy now too. And he goes 15-19 in 2024 with a pretty bland OPS plus, 85 OPS plus. Didn't exactly explode last year with a 95, but a 10-point improvement with another 16-20 season, basically a homer and a steal extra from last year. Still just 25. I liked the little stair step in production last year. I think if you can get to like a 102 to 105, right? Just give me a little bit above average, where the batting average is maybe a 255, 260. And all of a sudden, I think he's a stud. I think he's pretty damn good as is. But where do you come out with Rafaela now? 2 pretty good years in a row. Is there more here, or is this the guy that we get? 240s average with 15, 20 type vibe.
I think that this is kind of the guy that we get. I mean, on the plus side, he is a premium defender. And
right. PT guaranteed because of that.
Yeah. The Red Sox have made it pretty clear that he is their center fielder, that he is going to play every single day. On the downside is he is one of the worst players in Major League Baseball in terms of swinging outside the zone, right? This is very much the Michael Harris, the Pete Crow Armstrong kind of profile, which will lead to streakiness. And so like if you're playing in head-to-head leagues, Rafael is not the type of guy you want to go out and invest in, because
you better be careful putting PCA in the group with those guys. They'll come get you. Someone went after Joe.
They can come after me.
A comment.
Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Listen, we respect comments, so I'm not like being nasty toward this
I don't
person.
respect comments.
But, well, you should. Because if we don't have listeners, then we don't have a show. But somebody got after Joe, I think, in a YouTube comment for putting Pete Crow Armstrong in the Harris Rafaela group. And it's like, what? Of course he is. I know he had that great first half, folks. But of course Pete Crow Armstrong is in that group with guys like Rafaela and Harris. And Rafaela is the cheapest of the three by a mile, which is why he's the only one of those three I would take. PCA
Agreed.
is extremely overpriced. Harris is relatively overpriced. At pick 101, you and I, again, we've just never been fans. We're going to take other guys, but I don't think that's as egregious as previous years. And then Rafaela down here at 140. What is the difference between these three?
Yeah, I mean, Rafael makes good in-zone contact, which was a massive improvement last year, right?
That drove his jump up, right?
Exactly. So, like, he was an 80% zone contact guy for the first 2 years of his career. And then last year, it was 85, which is right around league average. So, like, it was very Michael Harris-esque. Mm-hmm. So, the problem is he doesn't really hit the ball super hard otherwise. He does have a 9% barrel rate, which was up last year, so that's kind of fine. But it was a 39% hard hit rate, which was the best of his career, and an 88 88 mile per hour average exit velocity. So like, I don't think you're gonna see a huge amount of production from a guy like Rafael, but he's be a guy that does a little bit of everything except for the batting average part. The other downside for Rafaela is he's probably not going to hit near the top of the lineup. Like right now, we have him projected for 9th. I would say he's probably going to hit 9th.
I don't see how he moves up short of
injuries.
Like multiple injuries. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It would take a crumbling of the team versus him forcing his way up, I think.
But I mean, it is a team that has like injury issues, right? Mm-hmm. Like Trevor Story, Wilson Contreras, like those are guys.
But how many would they need to move Rafaela specifically up, right? Probably
quite a few, because they have a lot of right-handed hitters already. So like he would really need probably both of those guys to go down.
Yeah.
And then I could see him moving up to like the 4-hole or something like that. But that being said, like, I don't want to like completely dismiss Rafaela because he has made improvements. Like I said, it was last year was a career best barrel rate. It was a career best zone contact percentage. Career best hard hit percentage. And he's only 25. I think this is a guy who, he was bounced around the infield and the outfield. Like, he's now going to focus on one defensive position. He's gotten better, over the course of the last few years, and he's still pretty young. So, like, if he turned into a guy who could be a little bit more patient, all of a sudden there's superstar potential if he starts hitting the ball a little bit harder, is a little bit more patient. So, yeah, I don't mind the price. I don't think it's a bad price, especially because, like I said, he's such a good defensive player. He's going to play every day.
If Harris was 140, would you take him around Rafaela as well? Would you be interested? Okay. Just want to make sure because they are the same player.
They literally are. Same guy.
And the 40 pick tax is the problem with Harris, folks. If you really like him, I get it. I've fallen for power speed guys my entire fantasy playing time. Take the cheaper one. Just take Rafaela. It's 40 pick savings. I guarantee you they are not that different. Unless you're in a draft with me, overpay and let me get Rafaela. Let's go to the old man Altuve of the group. The old Timex watch. I know that's a pretty dated reference. If anyone, first off, who knows what a commercial is? But they used to have these Timex watch commercials about how. What?
I had to explain to my 7-year-old what a commercial was.
I mean, it's like they know what advertising is, but not what traditional commercials outside of the Super Bowl. I guess this is the time of year where people actually, sit down to watch commercials for at least a couple hours. But generally, you're not seeing them as much. But yeah, the idea was the Timex watch takes a licking and keeps on ticking. And, there's been a few injuries in Altuve's career, but he always bounces back and he's always really strong. Now, last year, pretty quality volume season, 26 homers, 265 average, a little bit off his pace there at 265. And then the steals down to 10, which was a 4-year low. He had bounced back up after a little bit of a lull. 19 and 21 were pretty full seasons where Altuve stole 6 and 5 respectively. So we were worried going into his 30s, is his running going to stop? Then he goes 18, 14, 22. Okay, we're back. And then down to 10 last year. Now that Altuve is 36, I have to focus on that speed portion. Is that a blip that he's going to get back into the upper teens, low 20s, or a sign of things to come, being that he's 36 years old for Altuve?
Yeah, it's hard to know, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know is a fair answer because I really think that's part of the such a difficult part about projecting steals is we just don't know with like an old guy like this too.
And the team itself has not been a big stolen base team. Last year, they were 25th in baseball in terms of team stolen bases with 85. Yep. So I wouldn't project him to steal more than 10. I think if you're projecting him to steal more than 10, you're probably setting yourself up to have a deficit somewhere. But if he popped off another 20, I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Right. So that's the thing with the range on Altuve. I think it's like 7 to 25, which I know is a gigantic range. Like he could go even lower this year. He was 10 for 16, so it wasn't a good rate either. So he could take it totally easy, or he's back, he's making smarter decisions on the bases, and he's back up in the 20s. Okay, then how about the batting average piece? Because that's another thing that came down. You can look at the BABIP and say, okay, 283, that's not Altuve. 326 is his career. He's dipped down before, like in 2021 when he had a 280 BABIP, and then he got back on track. Are we getting back on track, or is again the age keeping you from projecting a full rebound for Altuve?
I think the age is, and we talked about him at second base, so like you can go back and listen to that if you really want more in depth. But I do worry that a lot of the underlying skills aren't very good. You look at the Statcast page that I have up, and yeah, he doesn't whiff, he doesn't strike out, but everything else is blue. Like his average exit velocity is actually in the 4th percentile.
So he just pulls homers off in the Crawford boxes, right?
Yeah.
Classic pull homer guy.
That's pretty much like Altuve's game right there. So, 15 of his 26 home runs last year were at home. He's definitely trying to pull for that.
He has one homer to the opposite. I'm looking at the chart. You got Statcast pulled up. He got that lone homer there in right field, just chilling.
Yeah, and so Could he do that again? Absolutely. But I do think there is a potential for like a stark drop off where like he hits 14 home runs,
Yeah.
steals like
8.
6 bases,
Yep.
right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, this kind of sucks. Um, I'm probably just gonna skip on Altuve, especially like you look at the underlying like average skills. His XBA last year was 237. Like if he hits 237 with 13
Jeez.
home runs,
He's terrible at pick
yeah.
120. So
So I
it
just
is
think
a. Go
I
ahead. I'm
this
sorry.
is usually I'm not the guy who jumps off a year early. I think this is a
Right.
year I'm jumping off a year early on Altuve.
I think it makes some sense though, because 120 is not a cheap pick.
Mm,
And while we did emphasize at second base how wretched it is, right? I know we're doing outfield right now, but he is outfield second base. You might try to justify taking Altuve saying, oh, he's got second base as well. You know who else does? The guy we just talked about, Rafaela.
yeah.
And again, you get a 20 pick discount. So I just keep moving off of a guy like Altuve for other options. And
Yeah.
in this case, it would just be Rafaela, who we just talked about. So I'm with you there. Let's talk about somebody I love. I know Joe loves him too, Mr. Rico. Are you a big Jacob Marcy guy as well?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I do think there is some risk with Marcy.
Sure, absolutely.
Um, but I also think the projections are pretty light on him. So
So let's talk about the Marlins center fielder. Came over in San Diego trade. Popped off last year for 55 games, really became, I don't want to say necessarily a fantasy league winner, but certainly somebody who was driving teams down the stretch with 5 homers, 14 steals, and a 292 average in those 55 games. Like you said, the projections aren't exactly exploding for him, but 14 and 30, like we'll call it 15-30 here. We got a couple, actually just one projection at 15 homers, but I like those, symmetrical numbers with the 15-30. But just a 230 average. That's the part I think I disagree with the most. I think he's a better hitter than that. I think he's more of like a career, or I mean, a true talent, like 260, 265 type of guy for Marcy. I think he has the talent to be that because of his plate skills. We haven't seen a ton of great batting average in the minors, but he owns the plate very well. He knows how to take a walk. He doesn't strike out a ton, especially for a swinging strike rate being pretty low. I think there's a ton here, and I think there's a complete package where you're getting double-digit power, impact speed, so call it 25 plus steals, and again, a decent average at a 260, 265 sort of clip for Marcy. I'm very much in on him.
yeah, I am too, and he's been a guy that I have drafted a fair amount, and like I do understand why a lot of the projection systems have him for like a 230 batting average. I really do. I get it. Like his numbers in the minor leagues were kind of all over the place, and especially if you look like, his 2025 numbers were not great from a batting average perspective, right? He hit for power and he stole bases, but he struck out. Well, actually, he didn't strike out very much, but he hit 246. So, like, I think a lot of the projection systems are taking some of that minor league work and going, well, he's going to probably be worse at the major league level. And I don't know, like, I think he made some real gains over the course of last year in the minors and in the majors. You're talking about a guy who struggled to make consistent contact in the minor leagues up until last year, and then it was 89% zone contact in AAA, and at the majors it was a 90% zone contact, right? He does not swing outside the zone, which means he's going to walk a fair amount. Again, another guy who's a pretty darn good defender, and the Marlins like have no reason not to play him, right?
Be
Like
crazy not to.
like even if he struggles, like he's going to get opportunities. So I think Marcy's one of those guys. Yeah, I don't expect more than like 12 or 13 home runs, but I could see a world in which, Marcy scores like 75 to 80 runs and steals like 35 bases with an actually decent average, not a 230 or 240, but like he could have like a 275 kind of average, and I would not be surprised. So yeah, I'm a big Marcy guy.
Yeah, I'm with you where I would tamp down the power projections. I wouldn't extrapolate too much on that and keep my expectations in check. Like you said, even down to 12, 13 homers instead of 15, 16, just to be smart. But that impact speed is what I want, and the batting average upside is where I fully agree with you that the projections are missing on him.
If he was in a different park, I'd be like, okay, maybe there's a way for him to get to like 16, 17 home runs. But in Miami, I just think that it's going to be pretty unlikely to see Marcy hit more than 12, 13.
Yeah, and if you are like in a points league where his doubles and triples can help, I think he can contribute there too. He had 18 doubles, 3 triples in those 55 games. Don't just extrapolate those, but again, I think impact extra base hits, and in points leagues where that can help, that can give you a little extra juice for Marcy.
Agreed.
So we're very much big on him, and like I said, throw in Arico as well if you want the sweep. We are very big Jacob Marcy fans on this show. Brandon Nimmo is headed from New York to Texas in a deal that's kind of reminiscent of another stud deal that they did many moons ago, where they traded Ian Kinsler for Prince Fielder. Both teams kind of needed a little bit of a different fit there with their big contract, and we see it here with the Marcus Semien for Nimmo deal. Money for money, infield for outfield, just better fits for both teams here. Nimmo is now going to be placed atop this Texas lineup, which is pretty good if they can stay healthy. I know that's a big if. That's an if for any team, but I think they're one of the bigger ifs on the health because they've had so many health issues to key guys. But if they can stay healthy, Nimmo leading off there, not bad. He's off of back-to-back 2010 seasons, 25-13 last year, 23-15 the year before. The batting average dipped to 224 in 24, and everyone felt like that was a fluke, and he bounced back to 262 last year. So I think more of the same from Nimmo at age 33, 2010, 260. Are you punching the clock on that, or do you have any concerns after, for someone who's become a bit of a workhorse on the offensive side too?
I have a few concerns. What on the plus side, like he's gotten over like the injury issues, right? Like this was a guy who seemingly could not play more than 70 games year in and year out, and then over the course of the last 4 seasons, he's punched the clock as like one of the most reliable guys in terms of production.
Reminds me of Kinsler, by the way. Since we brought him up, he started his career and it's like, if only this guy could stay healthy. And then he became the Iron Man. And so, Nimmo has evolved into an Iron Man here. Skills-wise, where are your concerns? Because if he can volume his way, that's going to give him a pretty good floor. Do you have concerns that the power and or speed or average, any of those 3 or multiples, are in danger of dropping?
Yeah, the power for sure. He's moving to a park that's much more difficult to hit for power. And so I would be a little bit surprised if he got back to the same homer level. The speed, I'm not quite as concerned by. The Mets did run more than the Rangers, but like we're talking about, the difference between, 13 total home runs between the two, 13 total stolen bases between the two teams. So like, I think he will still get his stolen bases, and you can kind of bank, 12 to 15 kind of stolen base season.
An efficient low double-digit total.
Exactly. For I just wonder if it's more of like a 20 homer guy, like a 2010 with a 250, which is fine. Yeah. It's totally fine. But I don't know that he's going to repeat the kind of numbers he's put up the last couple years in terms of like mid-20s.
That's probably going to push me off then, because the guys he's going around, the aforementioned Rafael and Marcy, but also Pajes from yesterday's show, Butler, Lawrence Butler, Dylan Cruz, Brenton Doyle, both of those guys we're going to talk more in depth here shortly. I mean, he's going in a group, Nimmo is, of other guys that I really like then. And if you have those concerns, I see where you're getting them from too, by the way, because another thing that dropped last year, even though the batting average came back, I was really surprised that his walk rate dropped so much. This is a guy who's been steady, firm double-digit walk rates, down to 8% last year. Now, it didn't affect his bottom line production for fantasy, but it did drop his OBP down to 324, which was actually lower than the previous year, despite adding 40 points of average. Are you concerned that that is something real, or is that a blip for Nimmo on the dropped walk rate?
I think it was. I think it was real, but we'll see how sticky it is. Okay. I mean, so remember we were talking yesterday. God, who was it about? Darn it, I can't remember who it was about. We were talking about a player who was being attacked in the zone more. Because they weren't. I'm drawing a blank too. I'm sorry. Yeah, they weren't super aggressive within the zone. Oh, Suzuki. We're talking about Suzuki.
That's right.
Being
he was attacked.
Aggressive. He was attacked in the zone a lot more, and it went up about 2% his zone percentage, right? Because the zone percentages can be a massive change with just a percent or two.
Mm-hmm.
The difference in zone percentage between 2024 and 2025 for Brandon Nimmo was 5%. Like that is
5%.
and that's where the walks went, because like he actually lowered his O swing just a tiny bit from 24 to 25. But pitchers went, we're not going to let you walk. We're going to give you something to hit and see if we can get you out. And so it'll be interesting to see, like, was that a product of like hitting in front of Juan Soto or hitting in front of Lindor, and maybe they won't do that against him in Texas, or a pitcher saying like, listen, we're not scared of you, so we're gonna come after you. If you get a hit, you get a hit, but we're not gonna let you get on base for free.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I don't think it was a fluke, but I also don't know how sticky it is now that he's in Texas. I think if he was still in New York, it probably would be pretty sticky. But we'll see if pitchers attack him differently in a new park with a new
The
lineup.
AL NL shift. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, and obviously with an interleague, it's not as crazy as it used to be. The AL NL difference used to be so stark. And when somebody went to a new league, like you had to really think about it. Like a hitter who didn't know any of those pitchers, okay, he might have some work to do. Or a pitcher who was like really deceptive and was going to a new league and was going to take some time to figure out. That used to be a very big deal. It's not as big a deal, but I agree with you with Nimmo here that yes, going from NL East to AL West, going to get some more looks. Maybe those guys aren't going to be ready to attack him the way pitchers did last year to drop that walk rate. So it is a little bit of a wild card for Nimmo. Again, I'm going to underscore that his price point isn't even bad at 150. It's just that he's around too many other guys that I like. And because of the concerns that you raised that I agree with, I'm not going to be having too much Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Robert Adele group. We did talk about these guys a bit yesterday, but we're going to go a bit deeper here because one of them is your favorite guy and the other you hate, and I think they're the same. Robert is pick 105, Adele is pick 123. So they're close enough that you do get a round discount with your boy Adele. Let's start with Robert here. Obviously, your major concern is health, and I'm not going to sit here and try to assuage you of that fear because that is a valid fear. Let's work in a health world for a moment. Let's focus on what you think he can do. If I can guarantee you 130 games, which is still not super healthy. That's a month off, but I'm bringing you back to a $130 with Robert, which would be a 3-year high. What are we getting with Robert on the Mets if I say 130?
That's the problem, is I don't really know. Like, I think Robert is one of those guys that obviously he has loud underlying skills, right? Good and bad. He can still hit the ball really, really hard, but he doesn't do it as consistently as he used to. And the underlying contact skills have gotten really scary. Now, you can maybe chalk that up to injury. I think Pizapia yesterday, said like, hey, if I was playing on the White Sox too, like I wouldn't, but like, I don't know if you're faking this dip in zone contact. He was an 87% zone contact guy in 2022. That is really, really good. Not quite elite, but like well above the league average of 85% year in, year out.
What was it in 23? Because that was his monster year for Robert.
81.
Okay, so he was still above average.
No, 81's well below average.
Oh, wait. So, is 85 average?
85's average.
Okay, so he was 2 points above average in 2022, had an okay season, dipped below average, but still went 38-20. Does that encourage you that even when he doesn't have his best zone contact, he can still have a monster season? Or is it just too sketchy to bet on at pick 105, and that is your concern with Robert?
I think you got to get really lucky. Like, it's just, like for it to actually kind of pan out. I think 2023 is the clear aberration in Luis Roberts' career. Like, I'd have to do like a really big deep dive just on that season alone in order to kind of figure it out. I mean, he did barrel the ball the best of his career, 15%
homer to fly ball. Though, too.
I was just about to say, like, especially for a guy like who isn't like always trying to pull. Though he in 2023 he did, right? Like 47% pull percentage in 2023. And that's what he did last year and did not get the same results. He's another one of these guys who swings outside the zone way too much. So in spite of a 9% walk rate, I would expect that to go back down in 2026. He's had a sub 300 on base percentage each of the last 2 seasons, sub 400 slugging each of the last 2 seasons.
Ew.
Like I know we were comparing, and we are going to compare Adele to Luis Robert, but like if you looking at the graph, Luis Robert is going down in terms of underlying skills, whereas Adele is going up. I'm always going to take the guy on the upswing, right? And like I said, this is giving him 130 games, which I don't think you can do. Like, like he's only gotten 130 games once. He got 145 in 2023. Other than that, like 110 last year was his max.
But what would he like? That goes back to Joe's point about, is he pushing through anything? Is he really, like, I don't even want to say like he's not trying. He's not going Derek Bell, Operation Shutdown, another old reference from Paul today. I don't think he's maliciously trying to like tank the team. But it is clear when you're on a lesser team that isn't playing for anything and you have that injury that would take you out in a situation,
shutting it down,
right? Versus we're in a pennant chase, which is going to be with the Mets,
contract.
Right? Which is going to be next year too. I wonder if he pushes through some things. Now, if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. But I think we could get some ancillary games. Just from the fact that he's going to be on a team where he's going to want to push through some things. And so maybe we at least get a baseline of 120 so we're not having to stretch too far to get to 130, 135. But I understand your concerns on Robert's health and the skills, though. I don't know how much to put into the whole, like, I was coasting because this team sucks. I think there is merit to that, but betting on it at pick 105 is the tough part for me. And I'm sorry to keep reiterating this point so much, but again, you're going to give me all those other guys who are just like him 40, 50 picks later. Yeah. Why would I take Robert? I kind of want to get in on this in case he pops, but where's my real discount? 105 doesn't feel like a deep enough discount for somebody who has back-to-back 84 WRC pluses.
It's because he was a turn pick in the first round not that long ago. Like that's why people are like, oh, well, I'm getting him at 105. Like 105 is still not cheap enough.
No, that's expensive.
Especially when, I mean, this is like the Byron Buxton profile where, like, like if you get 130 games, you're going to be stoked. But the chance that you get 40 games.
Did you say stoked? No, I'm just kidding.
No, stoked. The chance you get 40 games is way too high.
Right. And again, I'm not going to push back on the health piece. And that is reason enough to fade Robert. And if you want to get back in, I can see the wiggle room, folks, but not at this price. Guess his min. I got 27 drafts for you from January 25th through February through February 19th, I guess, since today's the 20th. Mm-hmm. But what do you think Luis Roberts' min is on that 105 ADP?
55.
You're pretty close. Some psycho took him at 61.
Yeah, okay. So, like, yeah, I mean, and that's going to happen. Like, somebody is always going to be a believer.
That's crazy.
They're going to chase that 202023 season. I don't think it's going to happen again.
I mean, Buxton or Robert, if I made you take one. Okay. Me too.
I don't know what the price difference is.
Well, he's 75.
I mean, Buxton just put together like a full season. Like, if Buxton turns into, the Brandon Nimmo guy who like went from like always being injured.
Could you imagine?
Like all of a sudden, like if he puts together another 600 plate appearance season, like all of a sudden we're like, okay, Buxton is just a stud, right? I need to see that season first from Luis Robert before I can take that gamble.
And Buxton got better plate skills too.
Yeah.
I think he has a better understanding of the plate. Doesn't take a ton of walks, but has had some walk rates in the 9-10 range in the past. I think he was down at 8 last year, which is palatable. And like you said, Robert was at 9 last year, but we felt that was a little bit fraudulent. I think maybe he was getting pitched around. And so again, don't pay that price, guys. Just wait 20 picks and take this guy. Even though I was giving Justin a little bit of a hard time about his guy, Joe Adele, and saying that he was similar to Robert, I'm still going to take the round plus discount. And I'm going to give you a moment here to just gush on your guy. Now, it's coming off of a big season. He finally did it, Joe Adele did. And you believe that there's more coming. 37, 98, 5 was his homer, ribby, steal. 236 average, which as we've highlighted all offseason. That doesn't kill you anymore. That's
Yeah.
you can take that when you're getting 37 bombs. What does he do for an encore going into the Magic Age 27 season for Joe Adele?
Listen, for him to return this type of value, he doesn't even need to do what he did last year, right? Like he could take a step back and still return this kind of value. But what Joe Adele has done over the course of his career in the majors, and like we mentioned, like he came to the majors super, super young. Like he debuted in 2020. I think at the age of like
21.
19.
I think he was pro teen for sure, but I think he was 20 or 21.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he would have been 20 when he debuted in 21. It was his age 21 season.
He's been around forever.
Yeah,
it feels like.
He really has, but he's only 26, going 27, right? And if you like the trope that Joe Pisapia said yesterday about contract year, it's the age 27 year, baby.
Yeah.
I just love the skill growth. Like I've said this recently here. Like one of the hardest things for hitters to develop is a hit tool, right? If you don't come into the majors with a hit tool, it is very, very rare to see you develop that in the major leagues. But that's what Joe Adele has done. He went from 74% zone contact, which is like truly atrocious. Not like should you be in the majors? You definitely shouldn't be in the majors with that kind of hit tool. All the way up to 85%, which I said is league average, right?
Take that all day with his power too for Adele.
And so like you look last year and he was actually unlucky in terms of the batting average, right? 257 BABIP was pretty darn low for a guy who can hit the ball as hard as he does. He had a 260 XBA, a 17% barrel rate, a 50% hard hit percentage, an average exit velocity of 91.7. You look at this stat cast, and yes, the contact skills aren't necessarily, or plate approach skills aren't necessarily great, but all the power, man, all that power. Now, he is a terrible defender. This is another one of these guys that, like really, really struggles defensively, and he won't have Ron Washington to continue to try to help him this year.
Is that why Trout thinks he could play some center?
They don't have a center fielder.
Right, because neither of them can really... I mean, you don't want Trout out there for his health, and you don't want Adele out there for his lack of skill in center.
Yeah, so I mean that's why they have guys on this roster that may end up getting time that you wouldn't really expect. Bryce cannot pronounce his last name.
Teodoso. Teodoso.
He's like a defender, right? Like he's a guy who's going to come in and be a late inning replacement at times for
Absolutely.
Adele. Or Adele will move over to, right field and Josh Lowe sits or something like that. But
yeah, because Lowe comes out for a lefty, Adele to right, Teodosio into center for late inning defense. That's a good call there. So pick 120. What is your limit? Because you can move markets sometimes, and especially in your own drafts when people want to.
I think he should be top 100.
So you're willing to take him in the top 100 there?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm taking him over Suzuki. So Suzuki's at 104 since the beginning of the month in draft champions. But I think that is the range, right? I'm definitely taking Adele over Michael Harris, over O'Neal Cruz, over Luis Robert. So it's not a massive jump of where he should be going, but I do think to be honest, as much as I know you're a Tigers guy and you love Riley Green, why are we taking Riley Green 40 picks higher?
No, he's too expensive. I'm with you on that. As much as I love Riley, especially with an Adele comp here, right? A free swinging power guy. Yeah, why am I paying that premium? Sure, he's on a better team. I can give you some reasons why Green, has some upside there, but not for 40 picks. No way. So I'm with you on that. Give me your boy Adele over Riley Green. I think Riley Green is egregiously overpriced. Yeah, and I just got to be honest about that, folks. All right, so Joe Adele. Back in for year 2 here, and I think you've sold me enough that I can take him at that price point. I'm not moving him up the way you are, but I'm not afraid at pick 120 if I need some major punch. What about the speed? Can I get a little bit more detail on that? Do you think that's coming back, or is he another wild card guy where he could get 20 this year, we wouldn't even blink, or he could be another single digit? We've never seen 20 in the majors. He was 15 for 25 2 years ago, and then 5 for 6 last year. Any speed component, or is that just off to the side for you with Adele?
Maybe if the power comes down a little bit and he's more of a 30 home run guy, like the Bat X has him at 30-10.
We'll take that.
I think it's hard to steal bases when you're jogging around him. So
You're not allowed to when you hit a home run.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll come down to team decisions, right?
Sure.
We say this all the time. Like, we don't know what a team with a new manager is going to do.
Who's their manager?
I have no idea.
Me
it's
neither,
not Ron
dude.
Washington.
I couldn't guess it to save my life right now because my first thought was y'all's manager, the college guy, Tony Vitello. So it's definitely not him.
Oh, it's Kurt Suzuki. So we have zero idea because Suzuki's never been a manager.
Yep. And he's a catcher. Oh, I'm really interested to see what he's going to do as a catcher, how much he lets his team run. Okay, so Adele, pick 120. Justin's super in. I'm in enough. Let's go down 40 picks to my guy, Dylan Cruz. I'm sticking with him, right? I'm not going to sit here and try to justify last year. It was bad. I mean, he failed to launch. This is part of, if you're not comfortable taking the risk on betting on the come, so to speak, this is your downside case. This is where you talk about and say, hey, I was in on Dylan Cruz as a, early 100s pick or even top 100 pick, and he went 10-17 with a 208. I get it. He flopped. But I'm not going to quit him off of that. It was 85 games. It was a washout. He still went 10-17 in about a half season. I don't want to get too, lazy and just go 20-34 on that. But I do believe he is a 20-30 guy. I thought that is Cruz's true talent. Curious where the batting average comes out. It might take some time to get there. Projections got him in the 240s. I understand that. And if I can get, 15 to 20 with 25-30 steals and a 240 average, I'm taking that all day. Where are you in year 2 for Dylan Cruz at pick 160 especially?
I think you kind of throw out a lot of last year. Like, he really struggled to start the season, and then all of a sudden he got hurt, and he just never was able to kind of get back on the field in the way that he had in his rookie season, right? So I'm willing to kind of give him a complete pass because, I do have the StatCast up there for people watching on the YouTube. It's ugly. It's ugly. But hideous, I don't worry as much about that for a guy like Cruz, who is still super, super young. He isn't a guy you're thinking of as like a power hitter, right? Like, this is a 15-30 kind of potential kind of dude, right? Like, he's not a guy who's going to hit for a ton of power. Anyways, what he is going to do is get on base and steal bases. And while like there are a lot of like warning flags in terms of the underlying skills, I just think it has a lot to do with the injuries, right? You start slow, you get hurt, you just never get that confidence back. I think he's going to go back to being the guy that we saw in the minor leagues and will be, a 15-30 guy with like a 250-ish kind of batting average.
Yeah.
And on a team that likes to run, on a team that is getting better offensively, pitching wise. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but
same.
Like, I think me and Jason were talking about it the other day, and I was like, I've never seen like such a stark difference in a lineup and a rotation in my entire life.
It's crazy.
Like, it is. We wouldn't even need to play reliever versus congressman. We could just play reliever versus national starter.
Hey, I love that bill that Foster Griffin got passed through the Senate. I thought he was really smart there, taking care of the kids. Wait, what do you mean he's the 5th starter for the Nats? No way.
Yeah, no, it's like, it is them trading away Gore, and I
still don't get that, dude.
I don't either, honestly.
The returns were fine.
Yeah.
But trading the 27-year-old ready-made starter that you've been working on, I guess they just thought it was hopeless or whatever. It just
I think they're
seem
looking
like
at
right
their
move.
window is farther away, and like they're like, he's going to be a free agent before
which I guess is fair.
But like, they've got a couple guys in the minor leagues that are like, they may not be up this year because they dealt with injuries last year. In Susanna, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name.
Love Susanna.
Soroka.
Travis Sikora. Yes.
Like, those two guys are like, they're top 100 prospects.
Yep.
Like I know they dealt with some injuries last year, but like, those guys are going to be up probably before the end of the year. I wouldn't draft them for fantasy necessarily this year, except for in Dynasty and Keeper.
Yeah, they're pickups in season.
If you have those guys in your starting rotation come 2028 with Gore, all of a sudden, like, all you need is one of Josiah Gray to get back to
Coming back
being
this
a
year.
good
Yep.
player, Cade Cavalli to like take a step forward, or just a random dude. But
Foster Griffin.
now you're Mike Mikolas and those guys, and like, or Miles Mikolas and
Miles
those
Michaelis,
guys.
who is their ace, by the way.
Yeah, that is terrible. Like,
Who is their ace, by the way.
somehow it's worse in the bullpen, where you have like legitimately, I don't even want to say these names because I'm gonna use them.
You got to save those, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, you got to save
like,
those. PJ
there's
Poulin.
nobody. Yeah, like Cole Henry. Like, I mean, I Jackson Rutledge. Like, what are you doing here?
Jackson Butledge. Yeah, so it's still a rough team over there, but I do like how the offense is coming together, so it should, deliver the run Ribby potential for Cruz.
The offense is actually really fun to watch.
Absolutely.
From top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're, 7, 8, 9 hitters are Brady House, Nasim Nunez, and Jacob Young, all of which have really interesting upsides if they hit. I'm not necessarily projecting to hit, but like,
I was stunned by I kind of learned about Nunez during the shortstop preview about how good he was last year, to the point where I've now come around and I've drafted him twice, Nunez.
And Jacob Young's going like outside pick 700, I believe.
Pick 9, he's gonna batting 9, gonna play, and still has a ton of speed. We were in on him last year.
Great
Again,
defender. Yep.
Exactly. He flopped last year. I will not deny that, but I'm back in this year when it's literally free. Literally, it's nothing to take a shot on their starting center fielder. So, yeah, I like Cruz to kind of get the ball rolling on that offense this year. James Wood, of course, is there. Abrams, Dalen Lyle with a late season breakout. And like you said, the bottom half with Ruiz, House, Nunez, Young, they can do something. So keep an eye on that Nats offense. Let's go to another guy we like. We don't spend too much time on him because we're always gushing about Brenton Doyle. We're giving him a pass for last year, the off-the-field stuff with losing their child, I think at 19 weeks. I mean, you can't even fathom how horrific that is. And to that end, the fact that he grinded it out and even played 138 games, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I'm sure the Rockies were like, whatever you can do, man. If you're playing, we appreciate that. But what you're dealing with right now is something we could never fathom. And it clearly affected him. He had a 65 WRC plus. But like I said, for me, it's a washout. Not saying he forgets about everything from last year, this year, but the more time you move away from such a terrible incident, the more likely you are to be yourself again. And I think we'll get more of the regular Brenton Doyle, which is 250, 20, 30 again. I'm fully back in on Doyle.
I am too. I really chalk up a lot of last season to what he was going through off the field. And
why so? I mean, I shouldn't say why so cheap. That's why is last year, but it's too cheap, right? Pick 160.
I don't get it, because like you see other guys who like had the 1 year and and
Harrison Roberts specifically.
Yeah, like you mean even like Lawrence Butler, where's Butler?
Yeah, that's actually a way better one, because he doesn't have enough track record to like still be loving him as much as people.
Yeah,
are.
Lawrence Butler. I mean, it's only around, but still, like, I don't know. I just, the underlying skills on Doyle are still really good. Like like the whole thing with Brenton Doyle was, prior to the breakout last year, was this dude could not make contact in the zone. And even with his struggles last year, like his zone contact was still 84%, like right below league average, but it's like still right there. Like, he doesn't swing outside the zone more than 30% of the time. So like, that's fine. Like, yeah, is he like probably a 26, 27% strikeout guy?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
But like, I think he's also a 30-20 threat. And like, okay.
20-30, right? 20 homers, 30 steals.
Sorry. Yeah. 20-30. Like, I'll take that all day long. Like, at pick 160, I'm gonna have Brenton Doyle on every single team this year at this price, except for when you and I are drafting together. That's
we're gonna be playing chicken on when we're gonna take him, and then I'll just take Cruz after you take Doyle.
Yeah,
but exactly. I just love both those guys there. And depending on how my outfield is, I could even see a double dip where I really just try to take a bunch of power speed and I go Cruz Doyle there.
It's like one of my favorite guys to take in an auction, because I can just like forego a lot of the pool and just draft from this area.
Yes. There's such a rich area here. I mean, we have so many more tiers. Obviously, we cannot talk about literally every outfielder, but there's still so many more intriguing guys to draft. Let's move off of a young up-and-comer like Cruz and Doyle to the old, steady, reliable Ian Happ, another player who we're a big fan of on this show. We've been touting him for years. We always talk about the story about how he had an opening day homer, and we pretended like that made us right about our call for him for the year. It did not, by the way. It did not. It actually ended up being a pretty bad season, which made it funnier that we were like, yes, we knew it. We called this guy. And it was like, I think it was his second season. So it was 2018, and he went 15, 44, 233. Yeah, you guys called it. Good job. But anyway, our long-term love of Ian Happ has proven correct. He's been wonderful. He's just been punching the clock on quality seasons the last 3 years. 20 homers, 240-some average. The steals are sliding, 14, 13, 6. So put those off to the side. But give me my 20, 80, 240, and it's clockwork with Happ, yeah?
I mean, another one of these guys that really struggled with health early on in his career in the last 4 years. 641 plate appearances or better each year. So, like he just, like you said, punches a clock. It's kind of a boring profile. He's better in the on-base percentage leagues because, he's had a walk rate above 12% each of the last 3 seasons. Doesn't strike out a ton, walks, I do wonder, like, are those stolen bases kind of going away? I don't know.
It's a bit of a concern.
It is a bit of a concern, but and I should probably just double check before I actually say what I'm about to say. But, they had Tucker last year, so he was a little bit lower in the lineup. So, is he gonna with Bregman?
Back up?
Is Bregman gonna hit second and Happ hit third? Like, could we see a few more stolen bases? And I'm not gonna project Ian Happ to get back to 13, but 9.
I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that. Yep.
24 homers, 9 stolen bases, 240. That seems fine. It's one of those profiles I like in deeper formats because I can pencil it in and feel really good that production is I'm gonna get it right.
It's pick 190 as well for Happ. That's just not that expensive. And so that's another thing that just really drives me toward him is that he continues to put these consistent seasons up, and yet his price drops because he's the boring guy now, Ian Happ is. So, yeah, after this wave of the power speed guys that we're talking about, I'll take more of a power-only sort of guy with Happ in the 190 range, and I have zero issues with that. All right, this last guy I got plenty of issues with. We're going to jump back up the board to pick 94 for some GD reason. We've talked a bit about him already this year, too, at least in passing with other player profile types. But O'Neal Cruz, people need to quit him, yeah? Why is he a top 100 pick still? I'm sorry. What? That's pure wish casting, right?
They're chasing the dragon, man. They're just chasing. I mean, he did 100%. Go 20-38 last
with
year,
a 200 average.
I know.
So, where's the cutoff where it's not helping you as much because of what the average hit is?
I mean, not only was it 200 for the season, it was 177 in the second half. And he hit he hit 4 home runs and stole 9 bases in the second half.
He was batter 109 on the player rater, right? Yeah. And we talk about player rater also rewarding volume. He played 544, plate appearances, not terrible. 109th hitter for O'Neal Cruz, not 109th player, folks. Again, I know he was better the year before, 21, 22 with a 259, so you could dream on a better average than 200. But can you project higher than 2.25, 230?
I can't.
I feel like you can't.
He's below that 80% zone contact threshold of are you a major leaguer? And he has been for each of the last 2 seasons.
He scares me. He terrifies me at pick 100.
He is 95. So tall that pitchers are like, hey, I know you can do damage, but I'm going to throw it at you and see what happens. Because the strike zone is so big for O'Neal Cruz. Now, to his credit, the swing strike rate was down.
Up.
The zone contact was up a little bit. Yeah, the O swing was down, right? Part of the problem was he became more passive, right? And especially in the zone, his zone swing percentage went from 61 down to 58%. And when you're being passive and you're also not good at making zone contact, like Suzuki makes the passivity work for him.
Yeah.
Because he is such a good in-zone hitter. When he does swing, he's going to make contact, and it's going to be good contact. The problem with O'Neal Cruz is he's not a good in-zone hitter. He needs to actually do the Michael Harris thing, the Pico Armstrong thing, to make it work. And so I don't know who in Pittsburgh said, hey, let's let you take some more walks. No, this is not the guy to take more walks. This is the guy you say, hey, swing every time, We know you're going
and
to
just
miss a lot.
mash. Yep.
But when you hit it, it's going out of the park. And or you're going to get a double or a triple out of it. Like I don't know why they decided, and I don't know if it was an organizational decision or O'Neal Cruz trying to do something, but it feels like somebody got in his ear and said, "Hey, we want to make you more of a complete hitter. We want you to walk." And now he is in a position where he's just too passive, and he doesn't have the good enough contact skills to make up for it.
A little bit peculiar. Like if you wanted to get hyped on O'Neal Cruz, you look at that 262 BABIP against a 311 career with his power and speed, and you can dream on that a decent bit without it being foolish. You can jump that back up to 300, but that only takes his batting average to the 2.25, 230, y'all. Like it doesn't make him a 250s guy.
His XBA was 218.
There you go. So
he was unlucky, but he was still bad.
There's still so much average risk, and I understand that there's those appealing homer and steal totals, and he's going into his magical age 27 season, but there's no discount. There is relative to last year because I think he was like pick 70, but there's not nearly enough discount, I should say.
Yeah.
Like he should be in the Dylan Cruz, Brenton Doyle range, the 160s, but people just can't stop with him, and he did put up 38 steals. And he's a StatCast darling, but I can't do it with O'Neal Cruz. Godspeed to y'all drafting him, and I think you're 100% out at that price point too. Is there a price where you would be interested? He's got a 121 max. Is that enough to even get you there?
That's insane. I wouldn't even draft him.
Me neither.
Like if his ADP was 121, I still wouldn't be taking him.
Still
because
too high by 40 picks.
It's still above Adele. It's above Cedane Rafaela. It's above Teoscar. It's above Pajes and Marcy. Like,
what about him or Noelve? Again, he's way more expensive, but let's say he fell to that 130 range where Noelve is, which would be a new max for O'Neal. But let's say they're both there at 130 and you wanted an outfielder. I know you got problems with both, but I'm making you pick one.
You're making me pick one.
Yep. At pick 130, I'm making you waste a pick on one of these two.
In this dream scenario where I'm being being waterboarded into making a decision on these two. Am I also guaranteed like full playing time? For
Marte?
In
this universe, like we're giving you a season of these guys. Let's call it 135.
Because Marte's never played more than 90 at the major league level. So if we're not turning injuries off or suspensions off, I'm probably taking O'Neal Cruz. But if we are turning those off, I'll take Marte. Like, give me at least Marte has really good, or not really good, but like league average in zone contact skills.
Third base eligibility too. A little sneaky ad there.
So like,
I think I would take Noelve.
I think Marte. Plus, you're in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah,
like
I love Cincinnati.
As opposed to Pittsburgh, like I'm taking Marte in that kind of toss-up.
Folks, listen to how much Justin stressed on that. And
I literally feel like I'm being waterboarded here.
Well, the funny thing is Cruz isn't even available at that price. I had to create a fictional scenario where he's not even available at that price. He's a minimum of 10 picks more expensive.
You had to create a fictional scenario for a fictional scenario.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just underscores how expensive he is. I don't mind betting on raw skills, folks. Not O'Neal Cruz's. They're just too raw. So you got to be careful there. All right, we will get into some more outfielders next week. We'll pick up the pace too because I think these next two groups will go pretty deep. And then after that, so next Thursday's episode is going to be more quick hitters on guys. I don't think we need to deep dive every, Brandon Marsh and Trent Grisham of the world over there. So we'll get into it. But the next two tiers, I still think have a lot of interesting players that we want to deep dive here, including Addison Barger, somebody I love, and Brian Reynolds, the old reliable, coming in very cheap. But Justin, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Are you and Jason getting together?
We are getting together.
Excellent.
I don't know what we're going to discuss. Maybe we'll start the
Spring
reliever preview.
Oh my God. Did you just see this news too?
No.
Oh, when you said, I thought maybe you saw it too. Jordan Westberg diagnosed with a partial UCL tear. Okay. I'm quitting him this year.
Well, you have to. He's not going to play.
Jonathan, the listener who made the wonderful case last year, made me a Jordan Westberg believer. We got to jump off this year, buddy.
That's really interesting because, I mean, if he needs Tommy John surgery, like, yeah, like Kidder's come back quicker, but he won't be back.
No, they're doing PRP.
Maybe in September. Okay, well that's even worse because
they're doing PRP to start. And
Kobe Mayo season, baby. Let's go.
Ooh, finally. They're trying to avoid an internal brace situation. They would go the internal TJ brace. But either way, that's really bad. Take him off the board.
Take him off the board.
Yep.
Yeah, like absolutely. Yep.
So, since this is like just a little throw in here at the end, you're not joking about Kobe Mayo season.
I'm not. I'm a huge Kobe Mayo guy.
So you're in.
There's another solution that we've been talking about for every other team, and not Baltimore because Baltimore had Westberg, but without Westberg, Isaac Paredes. Yeah, like that makes so much sense, right?
That would be fun.
Like
I would take him in Camden. Now
I want Kobe Mayo to have his shot because I do believe if Kobe Mayo can make even below league average contact, like 82% zone contact, like I think he could be 40 bombs.
Yep.
Baltimore. But they have like blocked this guy every stretch of the way.
I think it's time. I think it's Mayo time. As much as I like Isaac Paredes, I still want him to stay in Houston because the Crawford boxes are still better than the moved-in fence at Baltimore. Go with Mayo. Give him a real shot. This could actually be the opportunity he needs. I love Westberg, but yep, he's off the board now, folks. I can't draft him. Maybe in March if we have better news, but any drafts I'm doing right now, 0 Westberg for me. But I am moving Mayo way up. Mayo's ADP, just while we're finishing this up, is
it's like 670 or something. It's got to be. I'm totally guessing. But
what position?
Probably first base.
Oh, sorry. Is he not being taken in online championships? Wow. Yeah, he didn't have an ADP there. 481 in the last 15 DCs. How high does it go if Westberg is out for multiple months?
Probably inside the top 400, but I'll take that all day long. Like I let's see, like his min right now is 407, so maybe that's where it settles. In draft champions, I'm looking at. So.
And he's first base only to start, so he'll add third base. Kobe Mayo will. Let's put him all the way up at 370, right next to my boy Spencer Horwitz. Who are you taking, Horwitz or Mayo?
Mayo.
I think that's right. As much as I love Horwitz, let's bump it up further. 327, Josh Bell, Kobe Mayo.
Mayo.
I think I might take Mayo too,
dude.
You
can find a Josh Bell on the wire, right?
Right.
You can't find a potential 40 home run bat on the wire like Mayo could be if things
especially
come together.
Adding third.
Plus, I also think like you'll know fairly quickly, right? Because the Orioles have not been shy about like we will send prospects down. Like they will put, it won't be Jorge Mateo, but it like a Jorge Mateo type. Like if prospects don't work out, like they have no problem going and putting random Joe Schmo at a position because they don't think a prospect's ready. So like you'll know really fast with Mayo and he'll be easily droppable if it doesn't work out. But the upside is so massive if it does work out that I'm taking Mayo.
Last one, let's fast forward a month. He's established. Westberg is getting the internal. Let's say he's getting the internal brace. This is.
I know what you're about to do, and you're mean.
Hypothetical. Do you know that I'm going to go to Brett Beatty at pick 285?
Oh no, I didn't know you were going to go to.
Where'd you think I was going?
I thought you were going to go to Colt Keith at 312.
No, I bypassed him. I went all the way up. Let's say the helium is hot and he's up at 285 with Brett Beatty.
If the underlying skills are good on Mayo a month in, I'm taking Mayo. I just think that he has the better upside. Like
I think so too.
I think people forget Mayo was like a top 10 prospect not that long ago.
And he might not even get to that. Like I might be overstretching it. He might just get into the 300s. He might not get to Beatty's 285. So then versus Colt Keith.
We don't have a lot of post-type sleepers, but this is one.
Yep. As much as I love Westberg and I'm bummed by this news, this is really good for Mayo and could create a huge buying opportunity. All right, well, you guys can talk more about that on Sunday. Justin, I will talk to you early next week with more outfielders. Peace.
Take it easy.